defendant, rise and hearken to the verdict. Mr. Griffith, rise and hearken to the verdict.
State of Florida versus Collin Griffith. We, the jury, find as follows. As to the defendant in this case, the defendant, as to count one, the defendant is not guilty. As to count two, the defendant is not guilty. So say will, this 5th day of February, 2025.
I knew it. I knew they were going to find him not guilty. I don't know why. What a joke. Welcome back, everyone, to True Crime Desk. I'm Richard. Wow. What a case. Shocker. I mean, I had a feeling. I had a bad feeling about it. I don't get it. I mean, this happened yesterday. It came out yesterday, and I had to jump on here. You know, if it's your first time here, you know, I work at night, so it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I just got home from work, and I had to jump on here real quick because I had to do this video. Sometimes I think it's important if, you know, to kind of vent. I have to vent, and so I don't have a script for this. I just have some bullet points so I don't forget some of the things I want to talk about. But I just want to share this with you guys. Maybe it's just a place where we can just discuss this and we can kind of vent together because this case is an absolute joke. So I'm going to try to have very little editing, if any at all. And I can't believe it. So let's just get started with this. I mean, so if you're not familiar with the case, let's just start here. If you're not familiar with it, you know, Collin Griffith, he basically was being charged of killing his mom. He dragged her in the house, even though they were trying to say he didn't, and he stabbed her in the neck and Kate her, and of course he said he was going to do it, and he did, and so that's basically the case. You know, there's a whole thing with his father we'll talk about, but that's basically the case. It was less than a year ago, just over a year ago, so it went to trial really quick. But like I said, it's unbelievable. I just had to get on here and, like I said, talk about it. So we'll just go over the few bullet points I have, and we'll discuss it, and we can vent together because this is ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. I'm shocked. I don't know what to say. So the first thing is that, like I said, he's not even 18 years old at this point, and he's already K'd 2 people. You know, and one of them was his father, by the way, and that's something that they kept out of the court. You know, they kept that out. I mean. They didn't put in there that his father and his the person that he K'd was his dad. You know, they kept saying that he K'd somebody else and that he was, you know, that he hadn't been charged, but they never mentioned that it was his father. You know, they were hiding that. I just, you know, to me, every time they went to court, every day it started, it's almost like I felt, okay, what are they going to hide today? What are we going to try to hide today? It's like, you know, the defense said it wasn't relevant. The judge obviously agreed. He wouldn't let him say that it was the father, but it's definitely relevant. It definitely shows a pattern. So it was frustrating that they were hiding all that stuff, and then they would bring out her past and talk about how bad she was. But yet, you know, if what he did was justified, because he's saying he did it in self-defense, if what he did was justified and that he wasn't charged, then why are you hiding the fact it was his father? And there's only one reason they're doing that. So I just don't think it's right. The jury didn't hear all the facts, and they're going to find out later on. Yeah, you know, they probably know by now. You know, so that's, you know, like I said, hiding the evidence, not telling the jury that it was his father, and that he had just K'd somebody. I mean, 2 people when he's not even 18 years old, and he's claimed self-defense twice for both of these cases. So, I mean, you can live a lifetime. 3 or 4 lifetimes, or know like hundreds of people, and you never know anybody that's ever had claimed self-defense. He's had to do it twice. He's done it twice successfully, and he's not even 18 years old. So, I don't understand that. It's ridiculous. The judge said it was not relevant, that that his past wasn't relevant, so you could say that somebody was K'd by him, but you couldn't say who it was. And, you know, I actually watched all this trial. I try to watch it when I do the cases. I try to watch as much as I can. It's not easy to watch them all because they're quite long. But this one I actually did. But it shows a pattern. So it's definitely 100% relevant in my opinion. You know, and the defense, they were always claiming that he hadn't been charged in anything, but then yet they're hiding who was the person. And then they were terrible about the mom. They bring all her problems about wanting to self-harm herself a few times, supposedly pulling a gun on him and a knife, and she's this horrible person, and they'll bring her past in, but her past is relevant, but his past isn't. It doesn't, it doesn't really make any sense. It just, like I said, I was watching the trial and it was like, what are we going to hide today? What are we going to hide? So I think Oklahoma definitely needs to take a deep dive, a deep look into his father's case for sure, so they could maybe try to get him there, because this is absolutely ridiculous that he wasn't convicted at all. They let him go. And the one of the other things is that the prosecutor, he said that the mom was threatening him with the fact that he had purposely killed his father and it wasn't self-defense, and that she had some kind of evidence. So they're saying that's what, but once again, they couldn't say it was the father. So they couldn't really elaborate on that. They said it, but the jurors probably are a little bit confused, like, who was this person, or maybe it wasn't self-defense, or maybe he did it on purpose, but they didn't know it was his father, which would have been a big deal and 100% relevant in my opinion. So it's just, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I'm just really frustrated with this one. It's shocking to me, and he kept telling his mom, they kept telling his mom that, not his mom, he kept telling everybody around him, I don't want to go back with my mom. She's violent. If, I'm going to have to use self-defense, or she's going to come after me, and it's going to be self-defense. I mean, he's throwing that self-defense out there because he's trying to set it up so when he does it, he can use it, I mean, it's ridiculous. And I don't know. I don't get it. So I just don't get it. So like I said, what do you guys think? Are you as frustrated as I am? I mean, unbelievable. And then he has lack of emotion, completely zero affect, as he just, it doesn't seem to even bother him, which is scary, because he sits there and, there's a part where he comes into the court when he's walking in and he's smiling. He has a little smirk on his face, like he knew he was going to get away with it, which he did. And at this point, he's got away with it twice and he's free, so he can do whatever he wants, so, but like I said, he claimed self-defense twice and he's not even 18. And it worked both times. So he's never had to answer for anything he's done wrong. So what's going to stop him from doing something in the future? I mean, 18 months, I think it was 18 months between his mom and his dad's passing. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, I can't believe it. This case is really cut and dry. I mean, they turned around and, the grandma was, the grandfather, I'm sorry, was telling his daughter that he said he was going to kill her with a knife, and then, she had to watch out for him. And then they got in a fight where she had told him she was going to take his Xbox and his phone and stuff away because it wasn't doing what she asked. And he gets up and says, "Let's do it." And then even the grandma was there to hear that, her mother. And then he pushed her to the ground and stepped on her hand, and he was actually arrested for that. And they asked her, "Are you afraid? Do you think he could kill you?" And she says, "Yes." I mean, wow. So like I said, what do you guys think? I mean, are you frustrated as I am? So, they didn't allow the thing is the jurors didn't have all the evidence. That's the thing. Is that it's so frustrating is that they would, and then they're showing it on TV, it's televised, but then they hide all the images from us. I mean, I understand the graphic ones, but they had all kinds of audio and video of the house they could have showed us. There's all kinds of benign pictures of stuff they could have showed us. They showed none of it. They didn't show any of it. I understand all the graphic stuff. I understand that, but they didn't show any of it. So what's the point? I mean, it's just like, I don't feel like they want to have cameras in the courtroom. I really don't. I don't feel like I feel like they want to just do things behind closed doors, which is just unacceptable. It just seems like they do it because they feel like they have to. And every time they're doing it, it's like they don't want to and they're being forced to. That's what it seems like to me. I mean, everywhere. I'm not just talking about Florida. And by the way, this was in Florida, by the way. So, But all they did there in the whole trial was bash her. Bash her. Talk about victim blaming. I mean, she had her problems, but she didn't attack him, They kept bringing up her past, like I said. And they're trying to hide his at the same time. And just bashing her like crazy, and he changed the story 2 or 3 times, I mean, so that's that right there. And so the juries didn't see that part. I mean, so it's unreal, so when he comes into the courtroom, like I said, he's smirking and everything, like doesn't even bother him. And her mother, winner, I watched the Melanie Ferris. I watched and I actually did a case, the Melanie Ferris case, where she was convicted of killing her husband and put him on a burn pile, putting him on a burn pile. I don't know if you've seen that video. I think it was a video before this one or a couple before. I'm not sure. I'll put it on the end card if I remember. But she basically during her sentencing, she was claiming that her son did it and blaming him and throwing him under the bus. And I thought she was bad. But I'm telling you, man, this is the worst mother I've ever seen. She did nothing but bash her daughter. So much so the prosecutor even said, you're like looking forward to I can't remember exactly what he said, the wording, but it's like you're always trying to bash your daughter and any chance you get, basically. I can't remember exactly what his words were, but he even said that to her. Not those exact words, obviously, and it was every time he said anything, he said, you're real quick to bash your daughter. I think he said something like that. And it was horrible. I thought, man, she made Melanie Ferris look like the mother of the year, in my opinion. It was so bad. Everybody's the bad guy. Her ex-husband's a bad one. Her daughter's a bad one. Everybody's wrong, but the guy that actually is on trial. So, I'll like I said, I'll put I did a video on this as well. And if you haven't seen it, so I'll put that in the end cards if you want to see that. But, before the trial, I never thought I didn't think it was going to go to court this fast. And I sure as heck didn't think he's going to be found not guilty. I thought I heard that they were going to put manslaughter in there because he'd be in charge as an adult, first degree kidnapping and hemming. And I thought that he was going to be, I thought I heard manslaughter in there, and I was not happy. I thought, don't put second or man in there because they're going to turn around and settle. Well, that would have been better than what they gave him. I mean, at least it would have been something. Wow. And then get this one, the defense claimed that she wanted to die, that she basically provoked her son. So it would be self-harm by son instead of self-harm by cop, self-harm by son. That's what she was claiming. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. It insults anybody with any intelligence. I would think maybe the 12, maybe it didn't insult them. You know what I'm saying? But that was, man, I couldn't believe that. So, I almost said that word. Self-harm by son is what she said it was. And that she basically provoked him to do it. So once again, it's her fault. Everything's her fault. She's no longer with us. It's her fault. She wasn't mother of the year and she disciplined him and maybe she had her issues. It's her fault. Her ex-husband, her mother's ex-husband's her, it's his fault. Everybody's fault, but the guy, the young man, the little punk, because he's just a punk that's sitting there, it's not his fault. He's just a little punk. I'm 57 years old. I've been around a while, and I've met a few people, and I met a few of them, and I can see a punk when I see him right away. That's what he is. He thinks he's a tough guy. That's why when it came to his dad, he had to use a gun because he wasn't man enough to go head on. And then of course he goes after a woman. I mean, you're a loser to begin with. Even put your hand on a woman, but I'm sorry, it's just ridiculous. So, like I said, so if you haven't seen the verdict or you haven't seen that part, I'll play that in here, and I want you to see his reaction. I want you to see the verdict being read, and then we'll come back and wrap this up, I guess.
You may put your hand down. Please pass the verdict form to the bailiff. There are no defects nor omissions in the verdict. Counsel for the state, counsel for the defendant, rise and hearken to the verdict. Mr. Griffith, rise and hearken to the verdict.
State of Florida versus Collin Griffith. With the jury, found as follows. As to the defendant in this case, as to count one, the defendant is not guilty. As to count two, the defendant is not guilty. So say will, this 5th day of February, 2025.
Does the state wish to have the jury polled? You may be seated. Mr. Griffith, the jury having found you not guilty in each count, you are hereby adjudicated to be not guilty in each count and forever discharged for these offenses. We will be adjourned.
Now you notice his lawyer's reaction. You know, she was shocked. You see his lawyer's face. She was shocked. You know, I mean, this you could see it. She knows the truth. I mean, I know that everybody deserves a defense, but it's like, I mean, I couldn't do it. I literally could not do that. And just, you know, it was so bad the way this lady was being thrown under the bus and treated and victim blaming and just like, I mean, man, I thought we were better than that. It's just like, I mean, I know, I guess you got to do what you have to do, but that was so bad. And then for the mom, like I said, for the mom to be part of that, I mean, that's insane. There's no doubt in my mind that he will be back in court. We'll see him again. He'll be back. He'll do something else. And the grandma, she better watch out because I think he's going to be living with her. And, you know, and there's one part in there too. He looks back at the grandma and he's probably thinking to himself, yeah, you better not tell me what to do. You know, better buy what I want. Better not make me mad because, you know, so the grandma better watch herself. And for that matter, the grandfather, because he actually testified against him, because I really believe he's that dangerous. He's never been held accountable. So what's going to stop him from doing it again? You know, he'll just do something, set it up somehow, and then say it's self-defense, and you'll get 12 people that can't think their way out of a bag, and they're going to say he's innocent. I mean, you know, I don't know. Like I said, I watched every bit of this trial, and I knew more than the jury knew because they hid all this stuff from them because, you know, that's what we're supposed to do. You know, we're supposed to hide everything because we got to protect him. And I understand that you want to be fair, but there was no reason to hide the things because what was done was done. And, you know, they were doing the same for her. So no, if I had a chance to ask the jury anything whatsoever, it would, the one thing I would ask them is that, will you let this kid live with you? Are you going to bring it? Are you going to take him in? You're going to let him live in your house? You're going to feel comfortable going to sleep? Or what about in your neighborhood? Is it going to be okay for this guy, this young man to be in your neighborhood? I doubt it. You know, I doubt that very much. You know, so it's like, wow. And that look back at the grandma, like I said, look back at the grandma. Yeah. Better not, you better buy what I want. Better not be mean to me. It's almost like that Twilight Zone. If you've seen it with the one kid, you know, he pretty much controls the world and everybody had to be kissing his butt, you know, and don't make him angry. Don't make him angry. You know, so, but in my opinion, if he does anything in the future, I mean, this might be harsh, might be controversial, but that, you know, I shoot you straight. If anything, he does anything in the future and anything else, the blood is on the jury's hands. I mean, it's ridiculous that he's walking. Nothing. He's not going to be on probation. He doesn't have to go see any hypnotherapist, nothing. He's free to do whatever he wants. And I think people that around him, especially the grandpa, well, I would say especially the grandma, because I think he's going to be living with her. But the grandpa, they should be afraid of him. They should be really careful. I mean, he's never, ever had to be accountable for anything he's ever done. So what's going to stop it? But anyway, I know I've been rambling. Like I said, I don't have a script for this. I just saw this and I was upset. I wanted to record this so maybe we can vent together, I guess. We can discuss this in the comments. I mean, am I completely wrong? I mean, just let me know. Let's talk about this and because I think it's good that we have, you know, it's good that we have different opinions. I might have somebody in there that say he's completely innocent and that she was she went after him or whatever, or, you know, and that's fine. I mean, you can have that opinion. You're wrong, but you can have that opinion. I think it's good that we discuss this stuff, though. I think it's really important. But wow, it's crazy. This has been a really wild year with the plane crashes and everything that's been going on. It's just been wild. It's been a lot of good things are happening, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, and that's as far as I'm going to go on that. But there's been some really sad stuff too. This is very sad to me because she was far from a perfect mom. She was far from a perfect person because there is no such thing. She had her issues, but she loved her son. And she wanted him to be with her so bad that she was willing to risk her life just to be with him. That is what she said, and that is 100% true. And unfortunately, It did. It happened. She lost her life to her own son. And he was the last person that she ever seen. And as she's dying, she's knowing that her own son did this to her. That had to be so horrible. And I feel so sorry for the family and, not her mother, because her mother's a piece of crap. Sorry, but she is just a horrible person. But anyway, so I'm sorry if I was rambling. I just wanted to get this video out. I'm tired. And I think it's really important, like I said. So this is the first time you've been here and you got something out of this video. I appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. I've been a little bit lacking on my videos. I've been really unmotivated. And, like I said, that this one here, boy, I heard this one and I had to jump on the mic, as they say. And unedited and raw, just doing this. So, like I said, if you got something in the video, hit the thumbs up and the like and all that good stuff. Subscribe if you haven't. I would greatly appreciate it. And that's going to do it. So, until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember to always mind your surroundings. Bye.